So, what if I told you that one book, written over 30 years ago, holds a framework that has helped literally millions of people find success, both at work and at home? We're diving into Stephen Covey's The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, a true titan of the self help world that promises a principle centered path to a better life. And its influence? It's just undeniable. I mean, since it was first published way back in 1989, this book has sold over 40 million copies. A number that big tells you something, right? It speaks to this deep, universal hunger for a system, a real framework to improve our lives. But of course, with that kind of success, you're going to get some skepticism. And the biggest question people throw at the 7 Habits is this: are these ideas really all that profound? Or are they just, common sense, all dressed up in fancy business talk? Yeah, this comment from a Reddit user pretty much nails the main criticism. Some people just feel like the book takes simple ideas and makes them way too complicated. So let's break it all down and see for ourselves. Is this just hype, or is there some real timeless wisdom in here? Okay, before we even get to habit number 1, we have to get our heads around Covey's most foundational idea. And trust me, it's a big one: the huge difference between character and personality. See, Covey argued that for about 150 years, success was all about the character ethic, things like integrity, humility, and courage. But then he saw a shift, especially after World War I, towards the personality ethic. Suddenly, it was all about your public image, quick fix techniques, and looking good. Covey's whole point is that true, lasting success comes from your core. As he famously put it, what you are shouts so loudly, people can't hear what you say. And that idea is the bedrock for everything that follows. All right, so the whole journey begins with what Covey calls the private victory. This is all about mastering yourself before you can even think about effectively leading or working with other people. And it's made up of the first 3 habits. Now, this progression is absolutely crucial. We all start our lives in a state of dependence, relying on others. The goal of this private victory is to get to independence, where you take full ownership and responsibility for your own life. So, how do you get there? Well, it's through these 3 habits. They're the building blocks. It kicks off with taking responsibility for your choices, then figuring out what you stand for, and finally, actually organizing your life around those core priorities. Habit 1, be proactive, is the absolute foundation. It's all about realizing that you are the one holding the pen that's writing your life story. The key insight here is to focus your energy on your circle of influence, the things you can actually do something about, and stop wasting it on your circle of concern, which is all the stuff that worries you but is totally outside your control. So, what's in your circle right now today? Things like your own habits, the way you respond to stuff that happens, the skills you choose to learn. Reactive people let their environment control them. Proactive people carry their own weather. Focusing here, that's where all your power is. Next up, habit 2 is all about vision. And Covey uses this incredibly powerful, if a little morbid, thought experiment. He asks you to imagine your own funeral. What would you want your family, friends, and coworkers to say about you? Your answer to that question reveals your deepest values. This habit is about making sure the ladder you're climbing is leaned up against the right wall. And that leads us right to habit 3, which is all about execution. You've probably seen the famous time management matrix. Most of us get trapped in quadrant 1, just constantly putting out fires. Or we're wasting time down in quadrants 3 and 4. But Covey says that highly effective people live in quadrant 2. They focus on what's important but not urgent. Things like planning, building relationships, and preventing problems. That's where real progress is made. All right, so once you've achieved that private victory, once you're truly independent, you're ready for the public victory. This is where you learn how to succeed with other people. This next stage is about moving from independence to interdependence. And no, that's not a step backwards to being dependent again. It's actually a much higher state, where you realize that working together is way more powerful than just going it alone. It's the key to making big things happen with other people. So how do we pull this off? Through the next 3 habits. They're all about interaction, creating situations where everyone wins, communicating with real empathy, and collaborating to create something amazing. Habit 4 is a total mindset shift. It completely rejects the idea that life is a zero-sum game, that for me to win, you have to lose. A win-win mindset believes there's plenty of success to go around. Instead of competing, you're always looking for solutions that work for everybody. It's a philosophy of abundance, not scarcity. Now, habit 5 gives us probably the most famous phrase from the entire book, and it's an absolute game changer for communication. Before you even try to make your own point, you first have to listen with the real intention of understanding the other person, not just waiting for your turn to talk. Covey calls this giving someone psychological air. It's so powerful. And that leads perfectly into habit 6, synergize. This is where 1 plus 1 equals 3, or 10, or even 100. It's the magic that happens when you truly value the differences between people. By combining different perspectives and talents, the team creates something far better than any single person could have on their own. Finally, we get to the habit that makes all the other 6 possible. This is the one that keeps the engine running. Habit 7 is all about self-renewal. You can't be effective if you're burned out. Covey identifies 4 key parts of our lives we need to constantly sharpen: our physical selves through exercise and nutrition, our mental selves by reading and learning, our social and emotional selves through empathy and connection, and our spiritual selves through things like meditation or time in nature. It's the habit of continuous improvement. So let's circle all the way back to our original question. Now that we've seen the whole framework, is this a revolutionary path to a better life, or is it just a bunch of common sense? Well, for every critic, there's a powerful story just like this one. I mean, think about this Reddit user's experience. It spans 2 generations. It just shows the incredible impact these ideas can have when you actually put them into practice day in and day out. And really, that's the key. While any single habit on its own might seem kind of obvious, the book's real power is in the integrated system. It's not just a random list of tips. It's a coherent, step-by-step framework that builds on itself, from mastering yourself to working brilliantly with others. The structure is the secret sauce. So I'll leave you with a question that comes straight out of the book. Think about that quadrant 2, the stuff that's important but not urgent. What's the one thing in there that if you started doing it consistently would just change everything for you? Because the answer to that question, that's where your journey to effectiveness really begins.